I never thought I'd become the villain in a neighborhood kid story, but I guess when you mess with the wrong lawn, legends start to grow. It all started with a gate, or more accurately, the lack of one. Our backyard backs up to a green belt that all the neighborhood kids treat like their personal Narnia. Which, I get it, trees, trails, little wooden bridges, it's a dream playground. But the problem began when the path they used to take got blocked due to some drainage construction, and suddenly, my fence became their shortcut. Not officially. But let's just say the amount of dirt trampled into my garden suggested otherwise. Now, I'm not some grumpy old man yelling at clouds. I like kids. I wave, I've handed out Halloween candy, I even built a little free library. But I also spent the better part of a summer building my backyard into a peaceful space: flagstone path, raised flower beds, a koi pond I was genuinely proud of. So when I started seeing muddy footprints across my fence and random soccer balls floating in the pond, I knew something had to give. At first, I tried being chill. I printed a laminated sign that said, "Please respect the plant's private property." I zip-tied it to the fence where the shortcut was clearly happening. 3 days later, it was gone. Just vanished. Like some mischievous forest spirit decided my polite request was optional. I replaced it. This time with zip ties and screws. That one got defaced with a Sharpie. I wish I was kidding. The final straw came when I found a kid, maybe 11. Literally dangling from my trellis. He had climbed over the fence, lost his grip, and caught himself using a clematis vine I'd spent 2 years nurturing. I rushed out, helped him down, and told him calmly but firmly, "Hey, you can't keep coming through here. This is private property." He just shrugged and said, "Well, there's no gate," so like that explained everything. So that night, I stayed up researching fencing options. I didn't want to build some ugly wall, but I needed something that sent a clear message. That's when I found it: a motion-activated sprinkler system. Not just your average pop-up lawn sprayer. This thing looked like a sci-fi sentry gun with a garden hose. Reviews said it was great for deer, raccoons, and even persistent teenagers. That sold me. I bought 2. Installed them just behind the flower beds where the kids usually cut through. Set the detection range to max. The next afternoon, I watched from the upstairs window as one of the usual suspects, a lanky boy in a soccer jersey, crept along the fence line. He paused, looked around, then hopped over. The moment his sneakers hit the mulch, PSSSHHHH, the sprinkler sprang to life with a hiss and blasted him right in the chest. He yelped actual cartoon style and tumbled backward into the rose bush. I should have felt bad. I really should have. But I laughed so hard I nearly choked on my coffee. Over the next week, the system did its job beautifully. Word must have spread, because the shortcut traffic dropped off completely. My koi pond stayed clear. My fans flourished. Peace, it seemed, had returned. But peace, as I learned, is often the eye of a storm. One Saturday morning, I heard the doorbell ring. I opened it to find a woman standing there with 2 dripping wet kids and a face like thunder. She didn't introduce herself. She just launched in. "Your sprinklers assaulted my children." I blinked. "Sorry, what now?" She pointed to their damp clothes. "They were just trying to walk to Mason's house like they've done for years. And you ambushed them with some kind of weaponized hose system." Now, I could have tried to reason with her. I could have explained the property damage, the multiple ignored signs, the vine trellis incident. But she wasn't here for logic. Instead, I said, "Ma'am, your children were trespassing on private land. The sprinkler is a deterrent. It sprays water, the same stuff they use in pools." She scoffed. "You think you're clever. I know what this is. You're trying to scare them. You're playing some creepy game with kids. That's harassment. That word harassment hit different. I straightened up. What I'm doing is protecting my home and my garden. If you have an issue, feel free to speak with the HOA. She did. Oh boy, she did. By Monday morning, I had 3 emails from the HOA board, not complaints, just inquiries. Apparently, this mom, whom I later learned was named Shelley, had circulated a petition calling for the removal of my unethical sprinkler deterrents. She claimed I was creating unsafe conditions for neighborhood youth. Unsafe. From a water sprayer. Now, here's where the twist comes in. One of the board members, Greg, called me personally. He said, "Look, off the record. I think it's hilarious. My dog got sprayed when I stopped by and I still laughed. But officially, we have to investigate." I invited them over. I showed them the footage, clear, time-stamped video of kids hopping fences, running through flower beds, and yes, getting lightly misted. Greg chuckled the whole time. Another board member, Lisa, said, "Honestly, you might be the most polite grudge holder I've ever met." The report came back in my favor. I wasn't violating any codes. The sprinklers were legal, safe, and entirely within my property line. The HOA sent Shelley a notice reminding her of property boundaries. I figured that would be the end of it. No. The next week, I found someone had cut the hose to one of the sprinklers. Just cleanly sliced it. Not shoot deliberate. I checked the footage and yeah, caught Shelley's kid doing it, egged on by another boy. I submitted it to the HOA with a note, "I'm happy to replace the hose. Should I bill Shelley directly, or?" The board was livid. Apparently this was the 3rd complaint involving that family. They issued a formal warning. Greg emailed me personally again, subject line just said, "Sprinklergate, escalation." But I wasn't done either. I replaced the hose. Then added a 2nd sprinkler. Then I put up a sign next to it, "Smile. You're on camera." And yes, it sprays again. Kids started walking the long way around. Shelley stopped making eye contact at community events. And the best part? A few other neighbors actually came by and asked where I got the setup. One even said, "Man, I wish I had your guts." But here's the kicker: 2 months later, during the HOA summer potluck, I brought lemon bars and found Shelley already there. She avoided me at first, but later, she walked over and, I swear, she half laughed. "So my kid now wants a sprinkler for his birthday. You win." I smiled. I wasn't trying to win. Just trying to grow my clematis in peace. She nodded, sighed, and said, "Fair." That was the first civil word we'd exchanged. We'll never be friends, but she keeps her kids out of my yard now, and I've since added solar lights and a new trellis. No more signs needed. Just pressure, boundaries, and a little bit of humor. Sometimes, all it takes to stop chaos is a garden hose with attitude. Speech balloon, what do you think? Was I right to defend my property or did I go too far? Tell me below, I'm ready for the debate.